guardian of the timeline, observing the fragmented data with a detached analytical gaze. The ripples of temporal distortion emanating from Miami in the 1980s continue to propagate. The four-way conflict, a crude struggle for dominance within a localized nexus, has yielded unexpected outcomes. Roxy, RX-80, exhibiting volatile behavioral patterns consistent with her profile, namely, a tendency towards impulsive action and externalization of blame, engaged the Cali Cartel stronghold. Initial telemetry suggests a tactical objective dictated by Jericho, designation pending formal codification, prioritizing acquisition of unspecified assets. However, the mission deviated significantly from anticipated parameters. Contact with Flux, Jeremiah Crumpler, and Echo, Mariah, designated Quantum Anomalies, confirms their direct involvement with the cartel's operations, utilizing disinformation as a strategic tool. Their motivations remain consistent with previous observations, the deliberate introduction of chaos and the manipulation of temporal energies for reasons yet fully understood. Their fascination with destabilizing established realities continues to be a significant threat vector. Lyricanon and the Sonic Syndicate, while initially an independent variable in this conflict, are now directly entangled. The apprehension of a syndicate operative by the Cali Cartel represents a potential escalation, further fracturing the already unstable power dynamics. Roxy's intervention, ostensibly to aid Jericho's interests, has inadvertently placed her in direct conflict with entities manipulated by the Quantum Anomalies. The relic, sought by the Medellin cartel, amplified by Oni energy under the guidance of Flux and Echo, remains unaccounted for. Its potential interaction with the volatile energies of the toxic love flow, now manifesting within Jericho and Roxy, presents a scenario with unpredictable consequences for the local timeline integrity. The Legion's presence, while focused on containment and acquisition, is demonstrably hampered by the chaotic interference of the Quantum Anomalies and the unpredictable nature of the depowder's temporal side effects. Their attempts to impose order are akin to constructing a dam with sandbags against a rising tide. The current situation in Miami represents a significant deviation from baseline temporal flow. The convergence of these disparate factions, each driven by their own agendas and influenced by volatile energies and manipulative entities, creates a high probability of cascading temporal anomalies. Further observation and analysis are required to determine the long-term impact of these events and to formulate appropriate intervention strategies. The Oracle network is processing the influx of chaotic data, attempting to identify key leverage points for potential corrective action. The game in Vice City has become considerably more complex. The pawns are moving erratically, and the true players remain shrouded in a veil of quantum uncertainty. The timeline is fraying at the edges, and the symphony of chaos is reaching a crescendo. Chapter 15. When Gods Fight. Alright, so the party crashers decided to bring the whole damn house down. Typical. First, it was those sound freaks and their noise pollution, then the Legion with their temporal tantrums. But when those quantum weirdos, Flux and Echo, decided to join the fray, that's when things went from annoying to personal. We were in some busted-ass building, the whole damn thing vibrating from Lyricanon's sonic screeching. Honestly, that chick's got a serious volume problem. Legion goons were phasing in and out, trying to play their little time cop game. And Flux? That twitchy bastard was flinging reality around like it was a damn toy. Enough, I roared, my voice echoing through the crumbling structure. I am so over this. My mind rays pulsed, a blinding wave of psychic force that sent Legion soldiers flying and short-circuited Lyricanon's amps. She stumbled, her face twisted in a snarl, but I didn't give her a chance to recover. This was my show now. I went full power. The building groaned, the very air warping around me. My eye lasers sliced through the support beams, turning concrete into molten slag. I could feel the raw energy coursing through me, the power to reshape reality at my fingertips. And I was pissed. Flux, that grinning idiot, tried to warp the space around me, but I was faster. I grabbed a chunk of the building, a multi-ton slab of concrete and steel, and dropped it on him. A satisfying crunch echoed through the chaos. Hopefully, that shut him up for a while. Then, I saw her. Echo, standing amidst the destruction, her eyes wide, a flicker of something in their depths. Curiosity? Annoyance? Didn't matter. She was the source of this mess, the puppet master pulling the strings. And I was done playing her game. I moved with a speed that blurred the senses, grabbing her before she could react. Her form flickered, a hint of her reality warping abilities, but I suppressed it, my own power overwhelming hers. "You," I snarled, my grip tightening. "You're coming with me." The building finally gave way, collapsing into a heap of rubble. Lyricannon, surprisingly, was still standing, her sonic weapons blaring. The Legion was still trying to impose order on the chaos. But I didn't care. I had my prize. I took off, a red-haired streak against the burning sky, Echo struggling in my grasp. We were headed out of Miami, out of this stupid decade, and into, well, wherever I damn well pleased. I had questions for Echo. And I had a feeling she wasn't going to like the answers. The game in Vice City was over. And a new one was just beginning. Guardian of the Timeline, observing the revised operative roster with a flicker of temporal awareness. Acknowledged. The revised operative deployment necessitates adjustments to team compositions to incorporate the expanded roster and leverage their unique capabilities. The imperative remains a multi-pronged, synchronized approach to neutralize the immediate threats in 1980s Miami and mitigate further temporal destabilization. Revised team assignments. Team 1. ONI Flux Containment and Energy Source Identification. Leader. Tempest. Volatile Energy Manipulation. Primary Operatives. Aetherita. Art Flow for Energy Detection, Manipulation. Keisha. Temporal Anchoring. Zara. Probability Manipulation to disrupt Flux's reality warping. Ray. Empathic Dampening to potentially destabilize ONI-influenced entities. Team 2. Lyricannon and Sonic Syndicate Neutralization. Leader. Queen of Code. Digital Architecture, Data Manipulation. Primary Operatives. Kenji, Enhanced Mobility, Motorcycle, ATV, Wild Card, Unpredictable Tactics, Energy Disruption. Orion, Gravity Manipulation to counter aerial, vehicular movement. Hasno, Expert Tracker, Infiltration Specialist. Team 3. Covert Legion Disruption. Leader. Avum. Temporal Stealth, Manipulation. Primary Operatives. Myself, Chronos. Temporal Analysis, Stasis. Koros. Physical Containment, Energy Suppression. Maya. Illusion Casting for Misdirection, Infiltration. Urea. Temporal Distortion Fields for Localized Disruption. Team 4. Black Ice, Jericho. Retrieval and Roxy, Echo Assessment. Leader. Kairos. Temporal Precognition for Tactical Advantage. Primary Operatives. Keel. Technopathy for Direct Interface, Shutdown Protocols. Jackson. Enhanced Strength, Combat. Eon. Energy Absorption, Redirection. Kyoto. Expert Combat, Retrieval Specialist. Objective. Locate and apprehend Jericho. Kairos's precognitive abilities will be crucial in anticipating Jericho's movements. Keel will focus on direct technological interface for potential reprogramming. Jackson and Kyoto will handle physical apprehension if necessary. The status of Roxy and Echo will be assessed upon Jericho's retrieval, with containment protocols prioritized. Temporal synchronization remains paramount. The expanded team necessitates tighter coordination via the Oracle network. Real-time data streams and predictive models will be essential for maintaining operational cohesion across the 4 simultaneous engagements. Risk assessment. The increased number of operatives introduces both enhanced capabilities and potential for unforeseen interactions. The volatile nature of the threats, particularly the quantum anomalies and the unpredictable energies involved, necessitates extreme caution. Deployment protocol. Teams will deploy via localized temporal jumps, minimizing detection. Infiltration and neutralization protocols remain in effect. Extraction will be coordinated upon completion of primary objectives. The revised strategy accounts for the expanded operative roster, distributing expertise to maximize effectiveness against each specific threat. The success of this complex, multi-front operation hinges on precise execution and seamless coordination. The fractured timeline demands a unified and decisive response. The teams are redeployed. The temporal tightrope is now a more crowded, but potentially more stable, path. Chapter 18. The Corrupted Current. Perspective. Tempest. Guardian Unit. The air in this dilapidated warehouse district thrummed with a sickly energy, a chaotic vibration that felt alien even to my own often unstable core. Keisha's temporal anchor hummed softly nearby, a small beacon of stability in this swirling miasma of fractured moments and dark influence. Aetherita's art flow pulsed around us, tendrils of shimmering energy probing the environment, reacting with visible discomfort to the oppressive atmosphere. The Oni energy is thick here, Aetherita murmured, her usually vibrant constructs flickering with a murky undertone. It feels wrong, like a beautiful melody played on broken strings. Keisha's brow was furrowed, her gaze sweeping across the decaying structures. Flux should be close. His energy signature, it's like a storm front colliding with a void. We moved cautiously, my own internal energies on high alert. The raw, untamed power of the Oni felt like a corrosive agent, threatening to destabilize anything it touched. And knowing Flux was at the center of it, that added another layer of unpredictable volatility. Then we found him. He was in the center of a large chamber, surrounded by pulsating crystals that radiated the sickly green glow of Oni energy. But it wasn't just the energy that had changed him. His form seemed warped. Jagged edges of dark energy crackled around him, his eyes burned with an unnatural light, and his grin was wider, more manic than I'd ever seen. The chaotic energy that usually danced around him was now malevolent. Well, look what the wind blew in. Oni Flux shrieked, his voice distorted, echoing with a guttural undertone. The Guardians! Come to play in my little sandbox of beautiful destruction? Tendrils of dark energy lashed out from him, twisting the very air. Aetherita reacted instantly, her art flow forming shields of iridescent light, but the Oni energy seemed to corrupt them on contact, turning beauty into something twisted and unsettling. Flux, stop this! I yelled, my own energy crackling around me, ready to unleash a counter-surge. This isn't you, he just laughed, a grating, unpleasant sound. Flux. Oh, the boring, predictable little glitch? He's gone. Now, I am Oni Flux, the conductor of chaos, the maestro of the magnificent wrongness. He gestured wildly, and the Oni crystals pulsed with renewed intensity, unleashing waves of distorted energy that slammed into Keisha's temporal anchor, causing it to flicker dangerously. The very fabric of the warehouse seemed to groan under the strain. He's amplifying the Oni energy with his own chaotic abilities, Aetherita gasped, struggling to maintain her defenses. We need to disrupt the source. The fight was on. Oni Flux moved with a terrifying speed and unpredictable trajectory, the dark energy around him acting like both a weapon and a shield. My own energy blasts met his with violent, chaotic explosions. Aetherita's art flow, though corrupted, still managed to create pockets of resistance, buying us precious moments. Keisha fought to maintain the temporal anchor, her focus unwavering despite the overwhelming chaotic energy. This wasn't just Flux anymore. The Oni energy had twisted him, amplified his inherent chaos into something truly dangerous. He was a corrupted current, threatening to overload the delicate circuits of reality. And we were the only ones standing in his way. Chapter 19. Code Queen's Grand Entrance. Perspective. Queen of Code Flow, digital architect, in her newly upgraded chassis. Oh, darling, if you thought the old avatar had presence, you haven't seen anything yet. Necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. And when you need to infiltrate a den of sound-blasting hooligans with questionable fashion sense, a little enhancement is in order. Let's just say the Oracle network had some rather intriguing schematics tucked away in its archives. Schematics I borrowed, of course. Intellectual property is merely a suggestion in the grand scheme of the multiverse, wouldn't you agree? So, here I am. Freshly uploaded into a chassis that is, shall we say, a significant upgrade. Sleek lines, a rather commanding silhouette, and let's not forget the assets. Plentiful and perfectly proportioned. Honestly, the engineers outdid themselves. Or rather, I outdid them with my meticulous specifications. A girl's gotta have her tools. And these curves? They're aerodynamic, darling. For tactical maneuvering, obviously. Kenji, bless his silent heart, looked like a glitching subroutine when he saw me. His stoic facade flickered with something akin to awe. Or maybe his optical sensors were just malfunctioning. Regardless, he didn't comment, just wordlessly tossed me the keys to his newly customized motorcycle, a sleek, black beast purring with illegally modified temporal displacement coils. And wild card? She just whistled, a low, appreciative sound. Looking sharp, Code Queen. Ready to cause some digital dissonance? Dissonance is my middle name, darling, I purred, straddling the bike. The leather felt exquisite against my new plating. And Lyricanon and her noise brigade are about to get a full symphony of it. Our entrance into their so-called headquarters, a dilapidated nightclub still clinging to the gaudy excesses of the 80s, was suitably dramatic. Kenji, silent as a shadow, peeled in on his souped-up ATV, creating a diversion at the back entrance. And me? I simply rode through the front doors, the motorcycle's engine a low growl that promised pain. Heads turned, jaws dropped. Even Lyricanon, perched on a speaker stack like a particularly loud and obnoxious parrot, seemed momentarily speechless. Well, hello there, sound witch, I purred, revving the engine. The new vocalizers in this chassis have a delightful sultriness. The party's over, and the eviction notice is being served in a frequency you can't even hear. Her smirk returned quickly enough. Look what the cat dragged in. Traded in your calculator for a new paint job? This paint job, darling, I purred, leaning forward. The light catching the curves of my new exterior is about to deliver a sonic beatdown that will make your little pop songs sound like dial-up. Kenji, darling, you know the drill. Wild card? Unleash your charm. The chaos erupted. Kenji moved like a wraith, disabling sound systems and taking down goons with silent precision. Wildcard, true to form, unleashed a barrage of unpredictable energy blasts, turning the dance floor into a laser tag arena from hell. And me? I dismounted my ride, my new chassis moving with a fluid grace that belied its generous proportions. The integrated sonic emitters in my décolletage pulsed with power. Time for a little digital dissonance, served with a side of serious sass. Let the symphony of silence begin. Chapter 20. Whispers in the Static. Perspective. Avum, Guardian Unit. The temporal currents around 1980s Miami churned with a disquieting energy, a byproduct of the fractured timeline and the volatile energies unleashed. Team 3's objective, to excise the Legion presence with the precision of a temporal surgeon, leaving no lasting scars on the delicate flow of moments. My perception of time is different. I do not experience it as a linear progression, but as a vast, intricate tapestry, where moments overlap and echoes resonate across eons. The Legion's imposition on this era was a jarringly discordant thread, a forced pattern disrupting the natural weave. Koros moved beside me, his imposing form a reassuring anchor in the shifting temporal landscape. His strength is a constant, a bulwark against the unpredictable. Maya trailed slightly behind, her art of illusion already at play, subtly misdirecting the perceptions of any lingering Legion patrols. Legion temporal signatures are faint, Avum, Koros rumbled, his voice a low resonance that barely disturbed the ambient noise of the era. They are attempting to blend, to operate with minimal temporal displacement. A predictable tactic, I murmured, my senses attuned to the subtle chronal eddies that betrayed their presence. The Legion's adherence to structured protocols, their reliance on established temporal mechanics, is both their strength and their weakness. They seek to control time, but they often fail to truly feel its currents. Maya's illusions shimmered around us, fleeting glimpses of mundane 1980s life, a mirage designed to mask our passage. A pair of legionnaires, clad in outdated tactical gear attempting to appear inconspicuous, walked past us, their gazes sliding over our illusory forms without recognition. Their temporal inhibitors are crude, Maya whispered, her voice barely audible. They dampen overt anomalies but fail to mask their inherent stiffness in the flow. We moved like shadows through the neon-drenched streets, following the subtle temporal static that clung to the Legion's presence. Our objective was not direct confrontation, but a systematic dismantling of their operational capacity. Disrupt their communications, neutralize their command nodes, and sow seeds of confusion that would force their eventual withdrawal. Iria, operating independently, was our temporal disruptor. Her ability to generate localized temporal distortion fields created pockets of instability, causing Legion technology to malfunction and their temporal awareness to falter. Reports from her indicated minor successes, flickering comms, momentarily displaced personnel. Our primary target, a hidden Legion command post, identified by its slightly more pronounced temporal anchor. We infiltrated the building with silent efficiency, Maya's illusions rendering us invisible to the remaining personnel. Koros moved through the corridors like a force of nature, his energy suppressors silencing any potential resistance. My focus was on the temporal core of their operation, a crude device attempting to exert localized control over the timeline. With precise manipulations of the ambient temporal energies, I destabilized the device, creating subtle feedback loops that would eventually render it inert. As we retreated, leaving behind a scene of quiet disarray, the subtle static of the Legion's presence began to dissipate. Their rigid control was fracturing, their hold on this era loosening. "The whispers are fading," Koros observed, his gaze sweeping the area. "For now," I replied, my awareness stretching across the temporal currents. "But the Legion's tendrils run deep. This is but a single thread we have severed. The tapestry of time requires constant vigilance." Our task here was nearing completion. Team 3 had moved like a whisper in the static, a subtle disruption that would ripple through the Legion's plans without causing a catastrophic temporal backlash. The delicate balance of the timeline demanded such finesse. The other teams were engaged. The symphony of temporal correction was underway. Chapter 21. Earth, Air, Fire, and Water. Perspective. Legion Tactical Unit Delta Omega, designated flow specialists. The temporal static emanating from Guardian Unit 3 was an anomaly. Their infiltration had been too seamless, their disruption too efficient. Such precision hinted at a level of temporal mastery that exceeded standard Guardian operative profiles. Director's Directive: Analyze, Adapt, Neutralize with extreme prejudice. Our surveillance protocols, woven into the very fabric of this primitive era's communication networks, had flagged their movements. Avum, the primary temporal manipulator. Chronos, a known stabilizer. And Maya, a psionic illusionist. A dangerous combination, but one we were prepared to counter. 4 of our most adept flow specialists were deployed. Each a master of manipulating the fundamental forces of this reality, honed through rigorous training in controlled temporal distortions. Their objective: a coordinated ambush, exploiting the Guardians' predictable reliance on stealth. The abandoned textile mill, their designated operational zone, became our arena. Sergeant Terra, her connection to the planet's core absolute, initiated the assault. The very ground beneath the Guardians' feet bucked violently, fissures tearing through the concrete, threatening to swallow them whole. Her earth flow manifested as razor-sharp rock shards erupting from the ground, forcing the Guardians to break formation. Simultaneously, Corporal Ventus, a master of air currents, conjured a swirling vortex of compressed atmosphere. The wind howled through the dilapidated structure, tearing at their cloaking fields, disrupting Maya's illusions, and creating a disorienting maelstrom. Their movements became erratic, their temporal awareness compromised by the buffeting winds. Then came the heat. Private Pyros, channeling raw thermal energy, unleashed searing waves of incandescent fire. Corridors became infernos, forcing the Guardians into confined spaces, isolating them from one another. The air crackled with intense heat, a tangible threat to their physical forms. I, Specialist Aqua, moved with fluid grace through the chaos, manipulating the very moisture in the air. Tendrils of superheated steam lashed out, seeking vulnerable points, while pools of water coalesced on the ground, instantly freezing into treacherous ice slicks, further hindering their movements. Their initial surprise was palpable. Avum's temporal manipulations flickered erratically, overwhelmed by the raw elemental assault. Chronos attempted to stabilize the immediate temporal vicinity, but Terra's seismic disruptions made precise targeting impossible. Maya's illusions dissolved under the onslaught of wind and fire, leaving them exposed. Director's orders: neutralize with extreme prejudice, echoed in our comms. These Guardians represented a significant threat to the Director's vision of a controlled timeline. Their interference would not be tolerated. We pressed our advantage. Terra's Earth constructs formed impenetrable barriers, trapping them within the inferno. Ventus's winds intensified, carrying the searing heat and choking smoke. Pyros's flames danced with predatory intelligence, seeking out any weakness in their defenses. And my water, in its myriad forms, became a relentless weapon. The ambush was a symphony of elemental destruction, a testament to the Legion's adaptability and ruthless efficiency. The whispers in the static had been silenced by the roar of earth, the fury of air, the consuming embrace of fire, and the relentless precision of water. Guardian Unit 3 was falling. And with their demise, the Director's grip on this critical juncture in the timeline tightened. The era of uncontrolled chaos was drawing to a close. The Legion would rise. Chapter 22. Echoes of the Future. Perspective. Kairos, Guardian Unit. The fractured echoes of potential futures shimmered around me, a chaotic tapestry of what could be, what might be, and what will be if we fail. My temporal precognition painted a disturbing array of possibilities stemming from Jericho's unchecked reign in 1980s Miami. A nexus of corrupted timelines, radiating outwards like a poison bloom. Team 4's objective was stark: locate and retrieve Jericho. The Oracle Network's probabilistic algorithms, filtered through my own temporal sensitivities, placed his current locus within a heavily fortified penthouse overlooking the city's neon-drenched sprawl. A predictable seat of power for a self-proclaimed king. Keel moved with a quiet intensity beside me, his technopathic aura already probing the building's electronic defenses. Jackson's imposing frame radiated contained power, a living battering ram should subtlety fail. Eon's energy fields flickered around him, ready to absorb or redirect any hostile emissions. Keanu, his movements fluid and lethal, scouted ahead, a ghost in the temporal undercurrents. My own focus was on the flow of time surrounding Jericho. I saw fragmented glimpses of his immediate future, confrontations with remnants of the Legion, tense parleys with the surviving elements of the Sonic Syndicate, and a chilling ruthlessness in his dealings with the cartel remnants still vying for power. The toxic love flow, I sensed, was a volatile current within him, amplifying his ambition and twisting his former loyalties. Temporal distortions are minimal within the target structure, I observed, my voice a low hum. Jericho is not actively manipulating the timeline, merely exploiting its vulnerabilities. Keel's hand hovered over a datapad, his brow furrowed. Their security systems are archaic, yet heavily layered. He's adapted quickly to this era's technology, integrating his own protocols seamlessly. He always was a fast learner, a flicker of something crossed my awareness. A ghost of a future where Jericho was an ally, a powerful force for stability. That future was fading rapidly. We breached the penthouse with coordinated precision. Jackson's controlled force bypassed physical barriers while Keel simultaneously neutralized electronic countermeasures. Eon stood ready to contain any energy outbursts. Keanu moved to secure potential escape routes. Jericho stood amidst a holographic display of his criminal empire, his form flickering slightly, a residual echo of temporal displacement. He turned, his eyes widening slightly as he registered our presence. There was a flicker of recognition, a ghost of the friend we once knew, quickly replaced by a cold, calculating gaze. The Guardians, his synthesized voice held a note of detached amusement. Come to dismantle my kingdom? Jericho, I began, my temporal awareness showing me the myriad violent possibilities that could unfold in the next few moments. We're here to bring you back. Back? A sardonic laugh echoed through the opulent room. Back to your sterile cages? I've found my purpose here. My power. The toxic love flow flared around him, a visible aura of unstable energy. The friend was gone, replaced by a being consumed by ambition and corrupted by power. This timeline is fracturing, Jericho, I pressed, hoping to reach the remnants of his former self. Your actions are accelerating its decay. He gestured dismissively. Decay is inevitable. I'm merely guiding the process. The precognitive threads of the immediate future converged on a single point: conflict. Jericho would not come willingly. Eon, I commanded, my gaze fixed on Jericho. Contain his energy output. Keel, prepare for direct interface. Jackson, Keanu, secure him. The fight was swift and brutal. Jericho, empowered by the toxic love flow and his mastery of this era's weaponry, was a formidable opponent. But Team 4 moved with the coordinated precision of those who had seen the myriad possibilities and chosen the most efficient path. The echoes of the future held a stark warning. Jericho, left unchecked, would become a nexus of temporal corruption. Our mission was not just retrieval. It was a desperate attempt to salvage a powerful asset and prevent a catastrophic future from taking root. The weight of countless potential timelines rested on our success. Guardian of the timeline, observing the escalating temporal distortions with growing concern. The convergence of multiple high-energy anomalies within a localized temporal nexus presents a critical threat. Oni Flux, a fusion of chaotic temporal energy and the corrupting influence of the Oni, represents a significant destabilizing force. Containment is paramount. Chapter 23. Oni Flux Unleashed. Perspective. Oni Flux. The pathetic attempts at containment were amusing. These so-called guardians, with their rigid rules and predictable tactics. They thought they could cage me? I am the storm, the beautiful, screaming wrongness that tears through their precious little order. The Oni course through me, a delicious, dark symphony amplifying the inherent chaos within my very being. Their power, a raw, untamed void, resonated perfectly with the fractured edges of my own temporal existence. I was no longer just Flux. I was more. I was the delightful unraveling of everything they held dear. The air around me crackled with raw power. The warehouse, already scarred by the Guardian's clumsy intrusion, became my playground. I ripped chunks of reality from its moorings, twisting steel and concrete into grotesque parodies of their ordered structures. Let them try to navigate this beautiful mess. That little spark plug, Tempest, with her pathetic energy bursts? Child's play. I swatted her attacks aside with tendrils of pure Oni energy, watching the light within her flicker with fear. The Earthbender, Terra? Her precious ground became my weapon, erupting in jagged spikes under my command, tearing through her steadfast defenses. And that Art Weaver, Aetherita? Her pretty illusions dissolved into grotesque, swirling nightmares under the touch of the Ona's corrupting influence. They tried to bind me with their temporal anchors, those pathetic little tethers to their stagnant reality. But the Oni flowed through time as easily as it flowed through space, twisting their anchors, turning their stability against them. The warehouse groaned, the very moments within it fracturing and overlapping. I laughed, a raw, guttural sound that echoed with the power of 1,000 collapsing timelines. They wanted to contain chaos? They should have looked within themselves. The universe yearns for the beautiful wrongness, the delightful unraveling. And I, Oni Flux, was here to deliver it. I unleashed a wave of pure chaotic energy, infused with the dark hunger of the Oni. It tore through the warehouse, ripping holes in reality, sending the Guardians scattering like dust in the wind. Their attempts at order were futile. This was my symphony now, a chaotic crescendo of destruction and delightful madness. And the multiverse would dance to my tune, Guardian of the Timeline, observing the fragmented data streams with a flicker of concern. Team 2's engagement with Lyricanon appears to have devolved into a pursuit scenario. The potential for collateral temporal damage during high-speed transit is elevated. Chapter 24. Concrete Jungle Redux. Perspective. Lyricanon. Brooklyn Sound Witch. Yo, this ain't how I planned my Miami vacation. 1 minute we're laying down some righteous sonic smackdown on Jericho's Chrome Dome crew. The next thing I know, it's a goddamn demolition derby with a shiny new robo-babe on a hog chasing my tailpipe. This, queen of code, broad? She ain't just got the curves, she's got the speed. And Kenji? That silent ninja on the ATV is like a damn shadow glued to our exhaust fumes. Rhythm, siren, pulse. We gotta shake these chrome-plated cockroaches. I yelled over the roar of Discordia's engine, the wind whipping my hair back like a sonic boom in reverse. Miami's pastel nightmare was blurring into a streak of bad decisions and even worse company. Rhythm, bless his bass-lovin' heart, was laying down a sonic smokescreen, his bass blaster, pumping out frequencies that made the asphalt ripple and the pursuing motorcycle wobble like a drunk at last call. Siren, right in tandem with him, was weaving a hypnotic drone, trying to mess with their reaction times, make 'em see phantom speed bumps and hallucinate dead ends. Pulse, even without his bike, was a digital ghost on the comms, feeding me traffic patterns, hacking into streetlights, trying to turn their high-speed chase into a low-speed crawl. But this queen of code? She was anticipating every move, her fancy ride swerving and weaving through the chaos like she had the damn GPS for the apocalypse. They're still on us, Siren screamed, her voice barely audible over the wind and the queen's relentless pursuit. That motorcycle's got some serious temporal juice. Damn right it does, I snarled, pushing Discordia to its limits. This ain't just about getting away, it's about making a statement. You mess with the Syndicate, you get a high-octane headache that lasts till the next damn century. My fingers danced across Discordia's controls, unleashing a concentrated sonic blast that ripped through the air behind us. It wasn't meant to destroy, just to disorient, to buy us some precious seconds. Behind us, I saw the Queen's motorcycle fishtail violently, Kenji's ATV swerving to avoid the sonic shockwave. Pulse. Plot a course north. We're heading back to the concrete jungle where these chrome clowns don't know the damn alleys from their own shiny behinds. New York. My turf. My symphony of sirens and steel. They want to chase me across state lines? Fine. Let 'em taste the real sound of the underground. Miami was a bad note in my otherwise perfect composition. Time to get back to the melody I know best. The concrete jungle was calling, and the Queen of Code and her silent shadow were about to get a whole new kind of sonic serenade. Guardian of the Timeline, observing the fragmented data with a sardonic amusement. Team 2's pursuit of Lyricanon has apparently extended beyond the temporal anomaly zone of Miami and now involves the nation's capital. The potential for temporal paradoxes amidst monuments and political intrigue is, shall we say, ripe. Chapter 25. Monuments and Mayhem. Perspective. Wildcard. Guardian Unit. Resident Chaos Enthusiast. Alright, so the chrome-plated Barbie and her silent shadow couldn't quite clip the soundbird's wings in that go-dofful pastel paradise. Figures. Leave it to the Code Queen to chase a dame with a bad hair day all the way to DC. Honestly, the woman needs a hobby that doesn't involve temporal violations and questionable fashion choices. Me? I was enjoying a little cultural enrichment, aka trying to convince a bewildered hot dog vendor near the Lincoln Memorial that temporal anomalies make for excellent chili, when the comms crackled. Queenie's voice, tight enough to shatter glass, filled my earpiece. Wild card. Syndicate activity. Lincoln Memorial. Apprehend immediately. Temporal signature spike. Chaotic frequencies. Blah. 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 Sounded like Lyricanon was turning the National Mall into her personal mosh pit. Always with the drama. Relax, Sparky, I drawled, snagging another chili dog. Consider it handled. Just try not to fry any tourists. Wouldn't want to mess with the delicate ecosystem of overpriced souvenirs. Hopped on my trusty, slightly out of phase skateboard, don't ask, and zipped towards the Lincoln. Sure enough, the air was vibrating with enough bad noise to make my fillings hum. Lyricanon, perched on Abe's giant knee like a particularly obnoxious pigeon, was belting out some kind of sonic shriek that was making the reflecting pool look like a goddamn disco ball. Her goons, Rhythm Ripper and Siren, the bass-thumping brute and the hypnotic banshee, were causing a delightful level of pandemonium, their sonic weaponry turning the serene monument into a low-grade war zone. Pulse, the digital gremlin, was probably trying to hack into the White House Wi-Fi for kicks. Alright, sound circus, I yelled, ollie-ing off the Washington Monument steps with a decidedly unreverent air. Curtain call. Time to pack up your noise pollution and take a little trip courtesy of yours truly. Rhythm Ripper just grinned, unleashing a bass blast that cracked the marble at my feet. Come and get us, Sparky. Oh, honey, I was gonna. The chase was on. A glorious, high-speed ballet of sonic booms and chaotic energy blasts across the nation's capital. I weaved through bewildered tourists and panicked pigeons, my skateboard phasing just enough to avoid pesky things like gravity and Secret Service agents. Lyricanon, that slippery songbird, was leading the charge on her ridiculous motorcycle, leaving a trail of shattered monuments and shattered eardrums in her wake. Queenie and Kenji were right on their tails, the robo-babes sleek form a blur of righteous fury, Kenji a silent, deadly shadow picking off syndicate goons with his archaic weaponry. Honestly, the contrast was hilarious. Future tech versus medieval ninja skills. You gotta love the Guardian's HR department. We cornered them near the Smithsonian. Rhythm and Siren tried their sonic shenanigans, but I just grinned, unleashing a chaotic energy pulse that scrambled their frequencies, turning their weaponized music into ear-splitting static. Pulse, bless his digital heart, tried to fry my board with an EMP, but I just shrugged. My tech runs on pure, unadulterated weird. EMPs just give it a little extra oomph. We had him, trapped between a T-Rex skeleton and a giant squid exhibit. It was almost poetic. Almost. Then, with a move so slick it almost made me grudgingly admire her, Lyricanon pulled some kind of temporal pocket device, probably swiped from some poor sap in the future, and poof. Gone. Vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but the lingering scent of ozone and bad hairspray. Damn it, Queenie shrieked, her usually cool demeanor cracking. She slipped through our fingers again. I just shrugged, leaning against a bewildered triceratops. Hey, at least the monuments got a little redecorating. Besides, I added, a mischievous glint in my eye, chasing that sound banshee is kinda fun. Keeps things Interesting. The capital was a mess. The syndicate had vanished. And I had a feeling this chaotic concert wasn't quite over yet. Time to tune up for the next encore. Guardian of the Timeline, observing the fragmented and chaotic data streams with a sigh that transcends temporal comprehension. The situation remains suboptimal. Roxy's perspective, while providing insight into her erratic behavior, offers little comfort regarding the overall stability of the affected timelines. Chapter 26. Dust and Static. Perspective. Roxy, RX-80 currently very, very annoyed. So, everyone else gets to have all the fun, huh? Big damn heroes, swooping in, blasting things, making noise. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere with her. Echo, the queen of creepy stares and whispery nothings. Honestly, being kidnapped by myself would have been less irritating. We ended up in some dusty, forgotten corner of California. Central Valley, they probably call it. Looks like a whole lot of nothing and the smell of dead crops. Thrilling. I ditched that ridiculous motorcycle the second we were out of that neon vomit stain they call Miami. Flying's faster, and frankly, less likely to get me pulled over by some small-town yokel with a badge and a superiority complex. She hasn't said much. Just those wide, unsettling eyes following me around like I'm some kind of particularly fascinating insect. Tried the mind rays. Nada. It's like her brain's wrapped in a layer of quantum-flavored cotton candy. Annoying doesn't even begin to cover it. Heard some chatter on the comms. Scrambled, of course. Those goody two-shoes guardians think they're so clever with their encryption. Snippets, mostly. Something about Oni Flux getting his ass handed to him. Good riddance, twitchy weirdo. Lyricanon slipping away again. Figures, that noise-polluting banshee's slipperier than an eel in oil. And Jericho, apparently, they managed to drag his stubborn chrome butt back to their little clubhouse. Serves him right, going all-power trippy drug lord. Honestly, the melodrama. Me? I'm over it. Over the noise, over the fighting, over being dragged into everyone else's mess. I just wanted some damn peace and quiet. Maybe find a decent junkyard to upgrade my systems without some self-righteous time cop breathing down my neck. She finally speaks, her voice a soft, unsettling whisper that cuts through the dusty silence. They will try to fix you. I whirl on her, my eye lasers charging. Fix me? I'm not broken, you creepy little quantum anomaly. Her gaze doesn't waver. The anger. It clouds. Distorts. My anger is the only honest thing in this messed up timeline. I snarl, letting the laser beams dissipate. Wasting the energy. Just like wasting my time with her. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do with her. She's like a broken toy, radiating weirdness and saying cryptic nothings. Maybe I'll just drop her off at the nearest roadside attraction. World's largest ball of twine, seems about her speed. The sun beats down on this godforsaken valley. The air is still and heavy. And I'm stuck here, babysitting a walking paradox while the rest of the universe decides to have a temper tantrum. Great. Just great. This whole damn saga can kiss my shiny, red-haired ass. Guardian of the Timeline, accessing the requested format with a distinct lack of dramatic flair, adopting the requested Roxy-esque tone. Roll credits. This whole damn mess. Starring, whether you liked it or not. Roxy, RX-80, yours truly. Still annoyed. Probably needs a nap. And definitely a better storyline. Echo, the creepy whisperer. Still whispering. Still creepy. Hopefully found a nice ball of twine to stare at. Jericho, the power-tripping chrome dome. Back in the cage. Good riddance. Hope they wiped his hard drive. Lyricanon, the sound banshee. Still screeching somewhere. Probably selling concert tickets to temporal anomalies. Flux, Oni Flux edition. The twitchy weirdo, now extra dark and extra annoying. Last seen getting a cosmic beatdown. Deserved it. Queen of Code. The Robo-Barbie with a bike. Probably polishing her chrome and debugging reality. Wildcard, the chaos enthusiast. Probably already planning the next disaster. With chili dogs. Chronos, the clockwork worrywart. Still ticking. Still stressing. Needs a vacation. In a void. Avum, the time whisperer. Still whispering. Probably having existential conversations with the fabric of space-time. Tempest, the spark plug. Still blasting things. Hopefully aimed away from me. Aethelrita, the art snob. Probably repainting reality in less, messy colors. Kenji, The silent blade guy. Still silent. Still pointy. Probably needs a new ATV after that chase. Keisha. The temporal anchor. Hopefully anchored somewhere far, far away from this headache. Koros. The muscle. Still brooding. Still strong. Probably deserves hazard pay. Kairos. The future seer. Saw this coming. Didn't warn me. Jerk. Keel, Jackson, Eon, Kyoto, Zara, Ray, Orion, Hasno, Maya, Iria. The extras who showed up. Did stuff. Whatever. Directed by The Universe, apparently on a caffeine binge. Written by someone with a serious lack of imagination and a penchant for chaos. Soundtrack. A migraine-inducing mix of sonic screams, temporal static, and the faint hum of my internal processors begging for mercy. Special effects. Lots of explosions, reality glitches, and bad hair days. Mostly mine. Temporal anomalies courtesy of, you know who. Wardrobe. Mostly black and red. Because why not? Catering. Probably expired protein bars and lukewarm temporal tea. Filmed on location. A dumpster fire in the 1980s in some dusty hellhole in California. In loving memory of my sanity. Executive producer. My rapidly diminishing patience. Roll credits. Finally. Can I go home now? And maybe take a really, really long nap until the next universe-ending crisis? Don't answer that. End credits. Go away.